At 6:11 p.m., July 13th, 2024, shots were fired at the former President Donald Trump as he was giving a speech at his campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. 8 shots were fired in total, but Trump left the rally with only one wound to his ear before being completely covered by Secret Service officers. Luckily for the former president, he moved a few inches as the shot which struck his ear was fired. If Trump had not moved, he would have been shot in the head. The shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was killed by a Secret Service about 42 seconds after the first shot was fired at Trump. The Secret Service has been constantly criticized online for their lack of protection for the president, as they were made aware of Crooks, who they considered to be a suspicious male, but lost track of him. About 2 minutes before shots were fired, several attendees began to say they noticed an armed man on a roof roughly 450 feet away. Several attendees were trying to alert law enforcement, which was heard in a video taken by an attendee. In the video, a man says, "Someone on top of the roof, look." And a woman also yells, "He's on the roof, right there, flat on the roof." The fact that one of the most famous men on planet Earth was nearly assassinated shocked the world. But what if Trump didn't move those few inches? What if he did die? You're listening to News with Cop. Let's get straight into it. Donald Trump, billionaire, former president, and successful businessman. Trump is arguably the most hated president in US history, but he also has one of the most die-hard fan bases we have ever seen. When Trump lost to Joe Biden, his fans stormed the Capitol and literally caused chaos. It's safe to say that Trump has a way with words, as everything he says comes across as very persuasive. If Trump were to die, it would send the US into a frenzy, with Trump supporters likely blaming the shooting on the government to stop Trump from winning the election, and Trump haters would be celebrating. When John F. Kennedy was assassinated on the 22nd of November 1963 in Dallas, Texas, it became a massive moment in US history. But if it were to happen to Trump, it would be a much bigger event in US history due to social media and Trump's reputation, making every US citizen and many across the globe be shocked by this event. If the current President Joe Biden was assassinated, it would likely have a less chaotic reaction than if Trump was. The first thing Trump fans would do would be look for answers, meaning they would go crazy online demanding to know the name of who did it. Once the name is revealed, if this person is still living, I say they have a good hour before a Trump fan or Secret Service agent takes them out. After that, riots would begin to break out all across the USA, primarily in Washington and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where Trump was shot, and Washington is where all the government spots are, and Trump supporters would likely attempt to storm the Capitol once again, and possibly even the White House. Biden and his team would get threatened, and likely have assassination attempts put out on them. News outlets would go crazy trying to find answers, and the story of Trump's assassination would be at the top of all websites for months. If the shooter was not identified, this could literally cause World War III, as it could be assumed to be a hitman sent from another country, similar to the War on Terror, caused after the September 11th attacks. Someone will be forced to pay for this by the government, and this will cause a war to break out. See, I'm not American, so this whole thing doesn't really affect me, but it's crazy to think that if Trump moved a couple inches in a different direction, he would have been killed.